Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Conversation for ESL Listening. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Christina. So grab a cup and join the conversation.
Hey, Christina, welcome. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right. You feeling a little bit of spring weather yet, or is it still cold where you are?
It's from day to day. One
Yeah,
day it's nice and sunny, and the next day it's pouring rain here. Today it's kind of windy and a little chilly, but hopefully spring is coming.
I hope so. Yeah, we've had some weird weather here. I would say 3 weekends in a row, we've had tornado warnings and watches. Yeah,
Mm.
so we'll have this beautiful day, and then all of a sudden, bam, we'll get a warning, and then we got wind and rain and storms, and then it's nice again, and here we go, another tornado. So hopefully, we're out of the crazy weather and we're going to start
Right,
actual spring.
right.
So.
Hope so.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, this is a new topic for the week or whatever this is. We are going to talk about a topic that I love, something near and dear to my heart, and that is pets. So I love pets. I know you love pets too, right, Christina?
I do. I do like pets. I love animals.
Me too. Well, we'll talk more about this as we go along, but I will say most animals. I may not love all animals equally. I think you know what I mean.
You're more of a fluffy animal lover.
Yes. Fluffy is good. I definitely love fluffy pets. So, yeah, Americans generally, I would say, overall love pets. Not everybody, of course, but the overwhelming majority, I think we like pets. And in fact, to kind of look this up to see, how many people in the United States have pets. And apparently, there are 69 million households that have dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, and in fact, I read somewhere that the US has the highest dog population. I suppose it's not completely surprising because we are a pretty big country.
Right, right. And I mean, it makes sense because when you look
Yeah.
at pretty much almost every family I know, or most of them, have either a dog or a cat
Yeah. Yeah,
here.
same.
So that makes sense.
So 45 million households have cats. So
Hmm.
you will see cats are not quite as popular in most households in the United States as dogs, but that's okay.
So it sounds like there are more dog lovers rather than cat lovers in the United States.
It seems like it to me. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. And it's funny because people always say that they're either a dog person or a cat person, right? And of course, I would definitely say I'm a cat person. But yeah, dogs here are more popular. And I'm wondering, how about in Ukraine? Are dogs equally like the most popular? Because I have this feeling, and I could totally be wrong, but I feel like there are a lot of cat lovers in Ukraine. I hope I'm right.
I it depends where you live.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people, especially in the bigger cities or towns, live in apartments. And when you live in an apartment, it's easier to take care of a cat rather than a dog,
That is true.
right? You don't always have to take them out for walks or, bathroom. It's easier to have a cat litter and all that. So I would say that more people have cats than dogs. But if you live in a house rather than apartment or in a smaller town or village, a lot of people have dogs or both.
Yes, that's true.
So, but and if you're comparing United States to Ukraine when it comes to pet lovers, I feel like the United States is definitely more of a pet lovers, and they treat their pets, either cats or dogs, as family members. In
Right.
fact, I saw this little also a fact, so statistic that about 75% of pet owners in the United States celebrate their pets' birthdays.
That is so crazy to me.
Right. I mean, usually you don't see that in Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never celebrated a pet's birthday,
Me neither.
but part of it's because I get, cats from the shelters and stuff. I have no idea when their birthday even is. What about you? Did you celebrate your dog's birthday?
No, I mean, we're in the same situation.
Yeah.
We found our dog at the shelter. She is a rescue dog, and they don't usually tell you when their birthday is. So we only knew approximately when she could have been born, because when we got her, she was about a year or so.
Yeah.
So we no, we don't. And yeah, it would be hard to know when her
Yeah. But
birthday
it
is.
does seem very funny too to actually do that. I'm thinking, what do you make a cake? Do you have a party? Do you
Yes. Yes, people actually make like a puppy cakes or cat cakes or cupcakes or like a
Mm,
little treat. And they
that's
have a party, and they sometimes have little, like
adorable.
a birthday hats they put on their pets. They do.
Wow. Big business these pets are.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I can't even imagine how many billions of dollars are, in the pet industry, pet food, um, toys, and other supplies. I'm sure it's just a ton of money that's spent here.
Well, and that's another difference between United States and, I mean, I don't know about all the other countries, but that I could compare with Ukraine is that you have actual pet stores. And they're not just the small little shops, they're actual, almost like a department store size,
Yeah.
with all the different types of food and toys and, grooming and all the other things you need to take care of your pets. In Ukraine, you don't usually see those. I mean, you might see a section at the store somewhere that might have some things for pets, but you don't usually have pet stores like they do here.
So you probably just have a few select options for either cat or dog food, and maybe you'd have like a couple toys or something you could get, but you wouldn't have these aisles and aisles of food like we do.
No, no, no.
Yeah. I was so surprised when I was looking for cat food one day, and there's probably 4 or 5 different aisles of cat food, and I was looking up and down because I was looking for one in particular, and I saw this whole shelf full of cat food that was directed to a specific breed of cat. And
Wow.
yeah, and I thought, boy, that's really strange that you're going to buy cat food based on the breed. I mean, I could see for the health reason or for the age, but for the breed, I thought that was really weird. I guess you don't have that there.
No, we don't usually. But it's amazing how much, I mean, that takes a lot of science and research.
Right.
And so you see that I feel like there's a whole pet industry here in the United States
Right.
to, develop these or find out what breed needs what type of food. And it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's interesting.
It is. I'm sure there's something to it. I'm sure certain breeds have different requirements, but just when you think about it, like, wow, that's really strange.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know. It's interesting.
right.
But anyway, yeah, that's cats and dogs in the United States. They're family and they get all the good stuff just like everybody else.
That's right.
So, yeah, if you haven't figured it out, I am a cat person. Like I
Yes, you
said, they're
are.
either cat people or dog people. You definitely like both, but you have maybe a little stronger feeling for a cat or a dog. And for me, I'm a cat person. And it's really funny because cat people in particular have kind of been made fun of over the years.
Mhm.
They have these derogatory term, especially. They call people crazy cat ladies. And I say it's a derogatory term. It means something critical or maybe a little bit offensive in some way. But
Negative.
yeah, a little negative, maybe disrespectful, kind of. But the funny thing is that cat people have really embraced the term crazy cat lady. And so we're like, yeah, I'm a crazy cat lady. Sure, bring it. you know, and they've got board games, Halloween costumes. I've seen a crazy cat lady with a pink robe and a bunch of cats around and curlers in the hair. And we're like,
There's a
yeah, loud and proud. I'm a crazy cat lady.
there's a certain image of
Yes.
the crazy cat lady. But isn't that usually the reason why I feel like the term came is because it would be somebody like a lady or a woman who would
Yeah.
have a lot of cats, right?
Yes, it's true. Not sure why, but it tends to be the lady who's got a whole bunch of cats, and it doesn't seem to happen the same way with dogs. But I
That's
think
true.
it's sort of the same thing that you mentioned before about having to take them out. It's a lot more work with a dog, and so you can kind of let things get out of control with the cats. Oh, I've got two cats. Well, what's two more, And then next thing you know,
I have 17.
why not? But no, I'm not that kind of crazy cat lady. I have two, and that is my limit for now. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I, I wouldn't say that I am either a cat or a dog person because I do like both. And when I was growing up, I had a cat. But then now I have a dog.
Sure.
So I wouldn't say that I'm one way or another. I like them both. They're both wonderful and fluffy and
Yeah.
fun.
I do love them both, honestly, but I think I probably have cats, quite honestly, because they're easier.
Yeah,
They
I
really
agree.
are easier. But plus, I don't know, there's just something about the strangeness and kind of goofiness of cats that connects with me and I like it. So, but yeah, dogs love them too, definitely. Would not like the idea of having to take a dog out to go for a walk in the middle of an Illinois winter. Would hate that. Fortunately,
That
you have a yard.
yes, that's why you live in a house with a yard.
Yes,
So you just open the door, let them out, let them
that's
back
right.
in. They're ready.
That's right. Yeah, no, thank you.
So
So, okay, well, where did your love of animals come from, if you have any
oh,
idea?
yeah, I mean, it was my father. The whole all credit goes to him. My dad was a huge animal lover,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
he would sometimes he would go run errands or just go to a market to pick up a couple things, and would walk back home, and he would have a bunch of dogs following him. So just to kind of background is that in Ukraine, especially when I was growing up, there were a lot of stray animals on the street.
Mm,
So in the United States, that was one of the biggest things I noticed is that there's usually no animals on the street walking around
right.
because there's animal control and shelters and all that. In Ukraine, it wasn't. I think it's becoming more organized and controlled, but there's still stray animals. So, especially in a town where I was growing up, I mean, we had a bunch of dogs and cats on the street. So, yes, my dad would always attract dogs and cats. But this one time, he and my brother went to like a local soccer game and they came back with a cat.
Oh.
And he brought the cat in. And when I saw a look on my mom's face, I thought the cat and my dad were going to spend the night outside together.
you know,
My mom, but my mom likes animals.
uh,
She likes them, but her idea of a pet is in and out. You live outside, you can come in and eat, and but then you don't
right.
necessarily stay in the house. We
Yeah.
lived in an apartment, so we would have to keep the pet there. So what we did, my dad and I snuck the cat back into the house and gave her a bath and cleaned her
Cute.
up and fed her and just kind of slowly kept her.
That's so cute.
So yeah.
Well,
So,
it's so funny that you said that you thought your dad and the cat would be sleeping outside. It makes me think of an idiom that we have in English, which is really funny. I'm sure you've used this about your husband. So when there's a married couple and the husband, it's usually the husband that does something that the wife is upset about, or she gets mad at him, and people say, "Oh, he's in the doghouse." That means he's in trouble with his
Trouble.
wife because he did something that she's mad about. So, yeah,
Right.
your dad was in the doghouse, but with the cat.
With the cat, yes. And I mean, you can't even say he was in the cat house because it doesn't work.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Right. But
That's really
yeah.
funny.
So
So,
how did you start? What about you? Like how did you come to be a animal lover and
you know, I can't remember a time in my life that I didn't have a pet. I mean, maybe a month or two in my life, I didn't have one in the house, but literally all my childhood memories, there was a cat or a dog or both. And I just was always crazy about them. I don't
Hmm.
know if it's a genetic thing or just because it was there, but I would go somewhere, and if there was a cat or a dog, I would just make a beeline, means I would just go directly over there and start petting this cat or dog. And yeah, I don't know. And if I didn't have a real cat or dog with me, I had a stuffed animal. You'll see
Oh,
pictures of me as a kid, and I'm just wandering around, and I've got a, like, by the paw, a
oh,
rabbit, a stuffed rabbit, or a stuffed dog or cat or something. Yeah,
oh, that
always
is
was an
so
animal
cute.
lover.
Super cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I know you mentioned that it was a little bit different there, that, you didn't really see, well, I should say here, you didn't really see animals running around the streets, strays, and things like that. So when you got your pets when you were younger, did you get them as strays? You just found them on the street and you said, "Oh, we'll just take them home." You didn't do things
Well,
like breeders there.
so they do have breeders.
Okay.
But a lot of the times it is either a stray animal or let's say, oh, my neighbor has a cat and she just had kittens. Would anybody want to take one?
Right.
Or especially people who had cats or dogs that are kind of in and out of the house that didn't necessarily stay in the house all the time, but they would go, um, go somewhere and then come back. And then, of course, they would
Oh,
come back and have
babies.
kittens or puppies,
Yeah.
um, which we probably will talk more about how that, how people deal with this in the United States. So, my first cat was the one that my dad brought home from the soccer game. And then my second kitten, I actually got her as I think it was a birthday present from one of my family members. Um,
Aw.
yeah, her cat had kittens, and
She's like,
she
"Happy
said,
birthday."
here you go. And she's like, would you like a kitten? And she brought me a kitten, and it was just the sweetest thing in the whole world. But unfortunately, I was going through the age, kind of developing and all that, and I started developing allergies. And
Oh.
that was the most heartbreaking thing. And
Oh, that's
I
so
am still
hard.
allergic to pets somewhat. I mean, it's not severe, so I can be around pets, but I have to kind of be careful and take my
Yeah.
allergy medicine, and I'm good.
I can't imagine. I would be so upset if I were allergic to cats or dogs. I mean, I can't even imagine it. It would be so sad for me.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, so here, we have, like you said, there aren't so many dogs and cats walking around in the streets. There's a lot of shelters. There are a lot of programs that will keep from having too many running around on the street, strays. We do have some programs like where they'll pick up the cats, and I'll say this: get them fixed. And I don't know, this may not be a phrase that everyone is very familiar with, But it's kind of a nice way of saying we'll get them fixed, meaning they won't have any more babies.
Right.
And so we reduce the pet population a little bit like that. Sometimes people will say if it's a female cat or dog, they'll say they'll have them spayed.
Hmm.
And if it's a male, they'll have them neutered. But usually we just say, we got them fixed.
Right.
So,
And that usually happens early on, right? Especially even if it is, you get a kitten from
yes.
somebody, or you find litter of kittens somewhere on the side of the road, and shelters or vet centers take them in. I think that's one of the first things they do, right?
Yeah. And especially if you get them from a shelter, that's a requirement. They have to be fixed.
Fixed, right?
Yeah, and then they have these other programs where they'll go to areas where there are strays and they don't actually try to place them in homes because they maybe feel like, well, maybe the shelter is full or
Hmm.
maybe the cat or dog doesn't really seem like it's going to make a good pet, but they will take them, fix them, and bring them right back. So at least that helps the population. So I
Right.
think that helps the feeling that there's not a lot of strays running around in the streets here. So those programs are really nice.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked about cats and dogs a lot. What other kind of pets do you have you ever had another kind of pet, or what other kind of pets are popular for you?
I besides cats and dogs, I have not had any other ones, but um, I know my husband, when they were growing up, they always had cats and dogs, but they also had hamsters
Hmm.
or fish. A lot of people like to have fish, an aquarium. They say it's very um, soothing and calming to watch a fish in aquarium.
Yeah, they even have
Um,
TV stations, I think, where it's just an aquarium. If you
right,
don't have your own, you can just play that.
right. But I have also had friends or heard of people have pets like rats
Okay.
or I believe ferrets. It's one of the
Oh, yeah.
pets that becoming a lot more popular. In fact, currently ferrets are the third most popular pets in the United States after dogs and cats.
Really?
Yes,
Wow, I would have thought maybe fish or something, but ferrets?
right,
Well, they're
ferrets.
a lot cuter than fish, so
But they are.
they are cute.
Rabbits. I think some
Rabbits.
people have rabbits,
I had a
bunnies.
rabbit once when I was a kid. Yeah, for a little
Yeah.
while.
Um, guinea pigs. I
Guinea
think have
pigs.
they're big.
Cute too.
A lot of people have guinea pigs. Hedgehogs. I started seeing more and more people having hedgehogs as pets.
Does anybody have them here? Because I know that uh, they're not native to this area, and I don't know if it's even legal to have them. I'm not sure. Do you
I
know?
think it is legal.
Oh, okay.
People can, yeah, people can have them as pets, and
I've just never
apparently
seen one here.
there's so many different types of hedgehogs that some of them can be pets, but not
Oh,
others.
okay. They're
Um,
super cute.
they are adorable. I mean, we can also think about some that are not fluffy and cute, but people also keep lizards
Yeah, I like
as
lizards.
pets or snakes.
No, no, no. There's what I was talking about right there. Not all animals are the best.
This is where you draw a line.
Yes,
Um,
I draw the line right there.
but we I did have another pet. I forgot about it. When I worked at preschool with children, with young children, we had a classroom pet, and it was a hermit crab.
Oh, that's so funny. What do they do? I mean, not
Nothing.
much, right? Just kind
They
of,
just
you can't cuddle with them, right?
no, you cannot. But because they live in a shell all the time, sometimes we would take him out by the shell, and he would kind of poke out his little claws and legs, and we just kind of talk to him and put him back. And I think the biggest excitement was with having a hermit crab was when we would put a bigger shell in there, because they tend to, like, they will change their shells. If they go from the current shell, they'll go into a bigger one and then they grow that way.
Oh, nature
So
is
it
so
would be,
interesting.
yeah, and it would be the kids would always be excited because they would look forward to it every morning. They would come in and they're like, okay, did he go to another home? Did he find, So they would always look forward to
Cool.
that. But yeah, other than that, they don't really do much. I mean, some people keep birds as pets as well.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about this, but I used to have ducks when I was a kid. Yes, we lived in a house that was on a lake and a pond. We had a pond and a lake area, and we had these two white ducks. And
Oh.
this is another thing. There are so many pictures of me as a kid and even as an adult. Whenever I would see ducks somewhere, I'd get the little corn or whatever the seed is, put it in my
Right.
hand and hold it out. And the ducks would come out of the pond and walk, 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 and come walking over and eat it right out of my hand. So there are a bunch of pictures of me feeding ducks out of my hand.
Well, now that you say that, I do remember that time when
Oh
we lived
no.
here in town.
Oh no.
And, usually when people see a mouse, they tend to run away and scream or jump up on the furniture and all that. And
No,
I
no.
remember a time when you had a mouse by in your front yard. They would come to your kind of front porch there
It was in my garage. I found
or
it
in
in my
your
garage.
garage
Yeah.
even. And I remember you were telling me that you were leaving food for that mouse.
Yes, I tried to relocate it to a grassy area in the neighborhood, and I brought it some food and even some water. And sadly, though, I came back to check on him, and he was dead. So, yes, I tried. I really tried. But I think, honestly, I think that mouse had come from somewhere else after maybe getting into some kind of poison because he was walking around kind of weird. So I tried, but yeah, it wasn't very successful. But yes, everybody laughs at me. Who knows that story of me trying to feed and give water to the mouse?
To a wild mouse, not just.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I have ever met anyone who was trying to water and feed a wild mouse. I mean, usually people try to catch them or keep them away from the house.
No, very cute. Oh, I felt so
They are
sad.
cute. No, they are cute.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But usually people don't like to see them near their houses, and you're like feeding and watering.
Yep, that's crazy me. That's right.
A
Crazy cat
true
lady and
animal
mouse
lover,
lady.
right? Well, it's a good thing you didn't let that mouse get close to your cat.
Well, there was another time, I have way too many mouse stories apparently. Um, there was another time that a mouse got into our house. And yeah, and I saw this mouse running, I think behind my TV or something. And I
Mhm.
had another cat at the time, Mina. And I said to myself, oh no, I got to protect this poor mouse. I got to do something. And I grabbed Mina and I threw her in another room and shut the door. And then I thought to myself, who am I kidding? This lazy cat is not trying to catch any mouse. She's like, I'm not working for food. Thank you very much. But anyway, we got a humane mouse trap and we did catch it with some peanut butter, I think.
Mhm.
And same thing, I took the mouse to the field to relocate it. And yes, I probably left it some water and food. I mean, can't say for sure, but I might have.
Crazy mouse lady.
Crazy mouse lady, right? Yep. Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
So, yeah. So talking about pets and how much we love them, um, they're not just cuddly, cute things. There actually are some benefits to having pets. There are benefits that there's research studies about this,
Right.
that they're good for your health. Um, they are, yeah, so for your health, it can help you with exercise, right? If you have a dog, you can get out and run
Go
around with
for
your dog a little bit,
right,
walk with the dog. So
right.
that helps. Um, Pets have been known to lower stress or lower blood pressure. So that's really good. And also, and I can totally see this, but help with depression. You
Yes,
know, I mean, have you ever felt sad and your dog just came over to you and you just started petting and then they look at you and you just feel better after a few minutes, right?
right. And they say that pets feel like
Yeah.
they know how we feel, so they kind of anticipate these things. And I've read the research that they come to you purposefully when you feel this way, when you feel sad or depressed.
Yeah.
So they know that.
Yeah, I've
But
noticed that too, that I'll feel sad and I'll be like, "Oh, this cat is acting a little bit different, she's a little bit more, you know, cuddly than normal or something." Yeah,
right.
so that's good.
Well, and they make sense because especially during pandemic, a
Yeah.
lot more people had pets when it
Yeah,
got
I
brought.
saw a statistic about that. It said 89% said that pets brought them comfort during the pandemic, and I can tell you that's true. Just a personal story here, my cat Mina that I was just talking about,
Right.
she actually died right before the pandemic hit. And so that was very sad. And like I said, I've never been without a cat for very long. And then the pandemic hit, and things were shutting down, and I started thinking, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have no cat. I'm locked in my
Right.
house. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything, and no cat. Just me and my husband. Oh no!" I, need- I quickly made sure I got a cat. Yes,
Well,
so
and
that's how
that's
we got Lucy.
right. And I think that a lot of people kind of were in the same situation and
Yeah.
got some either dogs or cats to get
Yeah,
them.
I heard there were a lot of adoptions during the
Yep.
pandemic, and it makes sense, so
Right. Well,
that's
and
really great.
with that, knowing that dogs and cats or pets help people with stress and depression, or a lot of times it's anxiety
Yeah.
that people go through. So they have therapy pets
Yes.
that help people to get through that. And the therapy pets are actually trained to help people get through these moments like anxiety or people who might have seizures.
Yeah, that's
They
amazing.
train pets to anticipate those and let their pet owner know that, okay, it's coming, so you need to go sit down or lay down.
Yeah,
Which
it's
just
amazing.
proves,
Yeah.
right, which just proves that how smart they are.
Yeah. And I remember, at the college where we worked together, during finals time, they would bring dogs, I think, for people to come and just pet
Yes,
them and, just relax and kind of calm down after a stressful day of test taking and things like that. That's really cool.
they still do. They still
Do
do
that. Yeah.
have
Nice.
therapy dogs. And I think there was once or a couple times they actually brought a horse. I think it was a
Oh, that's
pony.
so cool.
Yeah, a therapy, like a therapy horse, a therapy pony, I think.
Oh, that's
So yeah.
amazing.
And I've
Yeah.
read and seen, actually watched some episodes of or reports of they were taking horses or dogs to nursing homes
Yes.
where old people are, or hospitals, like a
Yes.
long-term care facilities, because it's just such a comfort
It
to
really
people to
is.
have a pet.
My aunt does one of those volunteer programs with the dogs, and she says that the people are just so happy and
Mm,
comforted to have these dogs come and visit. It really makes their day, so that's really nice.
that's wonderful.
And not only that, I heard about these programs at prisons.
Oh,
Yeah, where I think I'm sure they do it with dogs too, but this one article I read in particular was about cats. And by the way, I didn't say this before, but we're going to have show notes, and so do check out the show notes for vocabulary that you're hearing in this episode. But yeah, I'll link in those show notes also this article about this program for cats and prisoners, and it's really interesting. And I think you'll like the article too. The article is interesting, but plus there's a lot of good, helpful vocabulary. I think you'll learn a lot in that. So definitely check that out. But yeah, they bring these kittens
mhm,
and allow the prisoners to raise them, to train them, to bond with them. And I think it really is so helpful because a lot of these prisoners, they have obviously big issues that they're there,
right,
but it helps them build self esteem, empathy, and also makes them feel responsible for something else, having to care for something else, having to worry about it. And I think it really does work miracles with people. And of course, it's great for the cats too because, they get to be socialized and then they can be adopted out. So
right.
it's an awesome thing.
That is a great program. I have not heard of it. So that would, yeah, that's a good, would be a good article to read about it. And
Yeah, really interesting.
I know that in one of our episodes when we talked about coffee, we mentioned that they have now cat cafes.
Yes.
I think it started in Japan. I think Japan is a
Makes
big
sense.
cat culture.
Yes, they do have a
Um,
cat culture.
and I think they have started those cat cafes started popping up. There's not a little good word there. In the United States now.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to one in Savannah
Hmm.
and that was
Right.
really cool. And I think there should be way more of those. I love it.
I think they had one in St. Louis, Missouri, and I wanted to go there, but you have to make an appointment. Like
Oh,
you have to block the time, a specific time, because there's so many people that they don't want, you know,
yeah.
overcrowd.
Yeah,
So
cats can
and
get overwhelmed if you have a bunch of people coming and
right,
going. Yeah, that's true.
right,
Yeah, now that I
so
think about it, I had to make an appointment too. Yeah.
right,
Yeah, that's good. But I just love that kind of thing. I think that's very nice.
it is.
Well, I would like to talk about a little bit of pet trivia. I
Ooh,
know you have some
my
pet
favorite
facts
part of
too.
it.
What? Yeah, right. I got some fun animal facts. I know you have some too. So we can share our facts. I've got some cat facts and some dog facts because I didn't want to seem biased. Okay.
Sounds good.
So this is a really interesting fact, and this is true. You may have read stories about this where a cat will get lost or the owner will move
Right.
miles away, maybe to another state completely. And don't you know that cat will turn up a couple months later? Well,
Is
apparently there is research about this because there's research about everything.
right.
So, according to the Lost Pet Research Project, there were reports of cats traveling 50 to 80 miles in 2.5 years. So, yeah, 2.5 years later, they'd show up miles away.
Oh my gosh.
38 miles in 6 months, 30 miles in 10 days, and 20 miles in 21 days. And then, of course, there have been those crazy instances where even more years have passed and hundreds of miles, and the cat just shows up. So there's something about them that they have this, I don't know, some kind of GPS internally that can help them, sort of figure out where they are. It's amazing.
I'm surprised there's no research on that yet to figure out well, what is it? How do they
I think
find
there
their own?
is. Yeah, it might be part of that project. I don't know, but there is something in cats that they have that ability, and I don't know. It's
It's just
amazing.
amazing.
So another cat fact I have is interesting that there once was a mayor of a town in Alaska who happened to be a
Mhm.
cat, an orange cat. Yes, he was the
What?
mayor.
That is crazy.
I remember reading about this a long time ago. I don't even remember how this happened exactly, but I think it was a small town and, they had an election and maybe not very many interesting candidates. So, yeah, let's vote for the town cat. I don't know.
That is ridiculous,
Yeah, yeah.
but funny.
I thought that was funny. So, okay, now we have a dog fact for you.
All right.
Okay, so this is probably not very surprising to anyone, but your dog can help you get a date.
Oh,
Once again, there's more research.
yeah.
One study showed that a man's chances of getting a girl's phone number went from 10% to 33% just by having a dog with them. And I am not surprised by this. Apparently, 66% of men and women would not date someone who did not like pets. And I can relate to that.
Right. Because, they say that you can tell a lot about a man by how they treat animals.
Exactly. Yes.
But
100.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, if it's like you or me, I mean, we would stop and pet the dog or cat and naturally make a conversation and all that. So I can see how people,
Yeah.
meet and have dates and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. For me, it's a
We
deal
probably would be the
breaker.
first ones in line there.
Yeah. For me, it's a deal breaker if the guy, I mean, I'm married already, but let's just imagine it would be a deal breaker for me um, that I would not want to have a relationship with a person who did not like pets because, yeah, I'm always going to have a pet. So that's
Same
going to be
here.
the end of that.
Same here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was fortunate that my husband grew up having pets, and they
Yeah.
always had a dog and a cat, or several cats.
It's
So,
funny because my husband did not. As far as I know, I don't think he really had strong opinions one way or the other. But boy, does he love our cats!
oh,
Oh my gosh, he loves them. It's very sweet.
that is sweet.
Okay, one last dog fact. It's not really
Okay.
a dog fact, but dog adjacent, dog related. Okay, so I did not know this, and I thought this was super interesting. Um, you know, Even if you're not a big music lover out there, you probably have heard of the band The Beatles.
Yes.
Very famous band. Paul McCartney
Mhm.
from that band claims, and apparently this is true, that they added a dog whistle sound to one of their songs called A Day in the Life that has a frequency so high that only dogs can hear it. And apparently, when you play that song, hopefully you can test this out. You play the song, and the dog will react at some point, wag their tail or something, because they're hearing something that you don't hear anything.
Well, I definitely am going to test this
Yes,
out as soon
you'll
as
have
we're
to
done
report back with your
talking.
findings.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it's just amazing how somebody would even think of that.
Yeah, well, Paul McCartney, being the vegetarian that he is,
Right.
he's an animal lover, so I could see that he would say, "You know what? Let's put something in for the
Something like
dogs."
that. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I have a couple
All
animal
right.
facts if we have a few minutes left.
Sure.
Um, so this one is about dogs. Apparently, I mean, we've well seen dogs lick their feet, right?
Yes.
But I mean, they groom themselves, but apparently, when dogs lick their feet, they do it for a reason. This is how they remember, like what happened today.
Okay.
So there is some sort of a I don't know, a chemical or something when that releases when they lick their feet that helps them remember like where they went, what they did. Isn't that crazy?
Do they have some particular need to remember all this stuff? Are
I have
they got a
absolutely
meeting
no
to go
idea.
to or something?
Gotta retrack my steps. Um, I have one about the cats. That cats' whiskers. I mean, we all know that they're kind of a receptors of things, but their whiskers are so sensitive that they can detect the slightest change in the air current.
Mm. Does that have something to do with like how they can sense like certain things like earthquakes or certain weather things?
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
probably
that's
part of it.
interesting.
So, did you know that many hamsters only blink one eye at a time? I'm trying to do that right now.
I don't know. I'm getting this mental image of this hamster.
With their cheeks that can go all the way down to their hips. Yes, that's another fact.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm picturing, but it's some kind of cartoon hamster in my head.
But yeah, interesting, isn't it?
It is really interesting.
And maybe this will give us an idea for another episode of our podcast
Okay.
when we can talk about collective nouns.
Ah.
But a pack of kittens is called a Kindle.
Oh, yes, I just saw that recently. Yeah.
But a pack of adult cats is called, do you know what that is?
A clouder.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just want
that's
to know who came up with these names.
you know, there is some very long list I have seen. Almost every animal has a specific word to refer to that group of animals. And
Right.
it's a huge list. And you're right. Who comes up with this? Because they must have a lot of time on their hands. Because I'm not quite sure why each animal needs its own collective noun, but apparently it does.
Apparently it does. So maybe one of those times we'll have a special edition
Yeah,
about
animals.
collective nouns.
Sure, and animals is a good topic that we can explore a lot further too if people
Right.
like the animal topic like we do. But
Right.
anyway, so
Yeah,
I think that'll do it for today. This was a really interesting conversation. Enjoyed talking with you.
me too as well. It's always fun talking to you.
Yes,
And
always,
and no matter what topic we choose,
for
it's always
sure.
fun.
It's always a pleasure.
So, all right. So I guess it's probably time to wrap up our conversation. So until next time, here's to good vibes, good coffee, and great conversations.
Cheers.